Can a random act of kindness spawn a worldwide movement? Yes, it can. When a wallet was returned just moments after it was lost, a purpose was found. This one act of kindness inspired the formation of the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide, with a vision to inspire a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Our signature initiative, Kindness Week Worldwide, launched in York, Pennsylvania, saw the entire community mobilized to celebrate kindness in many forms. Kindness Week featured initiatives and playbook programs, including blood drives, kindness cards, K-12 and college students embracing kindness, acts of service and charity, as well as an innovative means of community policing, kindness citations. York Police Commissioner Michael Muldrow personally took to the streets in search of York citizens helping each other through kindness.
It's time to kick off Kindness Week. We're going to be writing citations, but we're going to be writing citations for the good stuff that people are seeing around the communities. Everything that you do for this community is important, it's impactful, and it's necessary. And I just want you to know that you're appreciated. So you had to be the first person to be issued a kindness citation.
Appreciate it, for real.
This movement that was inspired by a single act of kindness has begun to spread through communities all across our nation and led us to the World Kindness Movement 11th General Assembly in Palermo, Italy, where delegates from 40 nations across the globe came together, unified in their call to action to government officials worldwide and the United Nations to embrace our vision of creating a worldwide culture of kindness. From Pennsylvania to Maryland and California, to Greece, Australia, and beyond, the movement has already begun. We invite you to join this powerful and important movement inspired by kindness worldwide.
We have weeks, even months, to celebrate broadly many things. Why not the same for kindness? So I call on and welcome every elected official, mayor, commissioner, supervisor, chancellor, governor, prime minister, and president of every community, state, province, region, and country in the world to do it. Let's elevate kindness to the global shared value that represents all of humanity. I also urge the United Nations to show its leadership and support. Despite our differences, can't every member nation at least agree on the need for humanity to stand on a shared platform that connects us? Kindness is that platform. So vote. It's one unanimous vote our world expects. There's no reason not to, and every reason we must. One kind act, followed by another, one person, and one community at a time. That's how we change the world, and that's the vision of Kindness Worldwide. So let's strive to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people, in each and every moment, in each and every interaction, in each and every day. If we do, our world will be forever changed. As we do, be mindful and grateful. Let's use the power we possess to be the change we wish to see in the world. Together, let's change the world.
My goodness. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you don't know who I am Mike Asherbrenner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And I'm not just saying this to say it. It's an absolute honor and privilege to have these folks up here tonight. Lots of talk out there, but these folks are doing it on a huge, huge scale. So without further ado, first of all, thank you for everyone who showed up at 7 o'clock during a busy week. We appreciate you. It says it all about who we run with and just the heart of our community. And without further ado, let's bring him up. The man himself, Kevin Smith of Kindness Worldwide. How are you today, big dog?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Mike?
Oh, I can't stand it. It's really hard for me to behave right now because I just backstage and all the things that you guys have accomplished just because you have the heart to, and we're going to get into that, Kevin, but folks saw the video and just want here's my rendition of it, folks. Successful guy doing his thing, working, taking care of the family. He lost his wallet and it looked like he lost his mind, right? Because you're supposed to throw somebody a 20, say thank you, and go on with it. No, not Kevin Smith. No. Kevin has to take it to the next level. And thank goodness he did, guys, because the compound effect of this, I've lost track of it. So without further ado, give us a little recap. First of all, this whole theme today is not just to showcase, but to inspire and realize and let other communities know, let other cities worldwide in this country realize, man, this is revolutionary community force we're dealing with. It can be duplicated and it is beneficial on all metrics to do so. That's why we got the folks backstage. So, real simple. Hey, can you share that experience from your point of view? Why did this lost wallet become the catalyst for a global movement, Kevin?
Well, that's a great question because honestly, Mike, I continue to be very humbled by this whole experience. Just watching that replay and the journey it's been over the last 2 years, I really have no words to describe it. This has become much bigger than me. I'm a pretty simple guy, and all I wanted to do was say thank you to a young woman who returned my wallet moments after I realized I'd left it behind at a grocery store. And the truth is, I'm just an ordinary guy who was touched by the actions of an ordinary woman who did an extraordinary thing. She was kind. And that day seems like yesterday. It'll be 2 years, April 7th, coming up. And it began instantly enough. My wife just sent me on a routine errand to the grocery store to pick up a couple items on a honey-do list. And I did that just fine. But I left one important item behind, my wallet, and returned home at 9:55 a.m. based upon our Ring doorbell footage and reached my back pocket. My wallet's missing. I frantically searched my car. It's not there. And the moment my fingers literally on the panic button, which is the ignition button of my car, to go back to the store where I knew I had to left behind, a young woman magically appears like an angel out of heaven, holding my wallet at 9:57, just 2 minutes after I got home, and asked if it was mine. And I thanked her profusely, offered her a monetary reward. She refused to accept, and actually was about ready to drive away. I then paused to ask her name, and Brooke, she said, and that was it. It happened so fast. And I walked back inside. I was just overwhelmed by just what had happened. She literally went the extra mile for her. For me, I felt I should have gone the extra mile for her and thank her in a more meaningful way. And what happened next, just in my desire to identify who this young woman was and thank her in a more meaningful way, it just took on a life of its own. No words to describe it. It all led to a community celebration of kindness to publicly recognize this young woman. That later morphed into what is now known as Kindness Week Worldwide, which is the signature initiative of the nonprofit I was inspired to create, Kindness Worldwide, and was never on my bingo card to ever start a nonprofit or ever run a nonprofit, let alone one called Kindness Worldwide. Right. But it's called Worldwide for a reason. So that signature initiative, Kindness Week Worldwide, first celebrated in York, my home community, who really embraced it and rallied behind it, was magical. And now that's spreading to other communities throughout the world. So I'm just hanging on for dear life. And again, I left my comfort zone a long time ago. I'm just having to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
All passion. This takes time away from work and home and all the things, but you never complain and you're getting it done. And we need this in the world now more than ever. I know that's cliche, but dadgummit, it's true. So I think most folks have seen this. We had the SPCA on last week from York, or last month. We've already been kind of dripping this, but this is really special because, just real brief, because I want to bring the folks up, but how did the partnership with York County begin? Like, that's really where it really started, right?
Absolutely. Well, there was a number of coincidences and twists of fate you wouldn't believe. One was a connection to the York County SPCA, because I discovered this young woman due to the profile picture with her and her dog on Facebook. And led to this idea of a community celebration of kindness that was originally going to be at the York County SPCA. And I started to think, well, what does a community celebration of kindness entail? And it occurred to me that we should do more to elevate kindness to the global shared value that really represents all of humanity. And I don't think we do enough to do that. And so I thought, well, why don't we formally recognize a Kindness Week? And Stephen Martinez, the executive director of the York County SPCA, put me in touch with Doug Hope, one of the York County commissioners. And I reached out to Doug. Doug's a great guy. And I said, why don't we proclaim Kindness Week? Can we do that here in New York? And Doug said, yeah, we can do that. And then this idea of kindness citations came up, and people said you should really talk to Commissioner Muldrow because he'd be all for this. And sure enough, as you'll soon find out and see, he really embraced it and championed the effort. And the police report to the mayor. And so I reached out to Mayor Helfrich, and he embraced it. And then we kept going. Adams County, Governor Shapiro recognized it. And, it hasn't stopped since. But I know the heart and character and soul of York, Pennsylvania. I've lived here all my life. And just like I know the heart, soul, and character of our country. And many people at times disparage our community or our country. And sometimes it's hard to fight back against a false narrative. And so how we do that is we show how good we are. And I knew that the York community would respond if only given the opportunity. And so this framework of Kindness Week and all that it entailed, it was magical. And there was never any doubt that my community would embrace it. And seeing folks like Commissioner Muldrow and so many others really rally behind it. No words to describe it. It was one of the most meaningful weeks of my life.
Yeah. Not just the words, y'all feel it, right? You say it all the time, but it never loses meaning. That's me. Like, I feel it every single time. And here's what I keep hearing you say. Who do I know? Who do you know? That I'm like a redneck ally. Who all the time, just because that's what I want to know. Who can open doors? Who's got the solution to a problem I have? And that's what you did. And it sounds like York likes that word too, because it moved fast. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to get into it yet. I'm going to say kindness citations. If I don't make you stick around another 5 minutes, I don't know what will. So let's bring on the man himself, right? Commissioner Michael Muldrow. I always mess up names, but I got this one right. So, hey, it's an honor to see you. You busy man. Thank you for coming to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I don't want her to sit back there by herself. All right, let's bring Jamie up. Jamie Norpel. Did I say that correct?
Close enough. We'll go with it. Norpel.
Norpel? Okay,
Yeah.
That's fine. Good to see you both. And it's amazing. Thank you so much. How are you today?
Awesome.
Good. Yeah, I love it when people go on a podcast and then they see me and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you kick the seat back, right? And hounds, hey, and friends of the hounds. I am trying to keep up with the comments. Maybe I have the one and only Dr. Constance Leland do it for me. How about that? Maybe she can do the comments for us. She's back there just in case the weather knocks me off. And she is Level Up Academy. All right. Shameless plug. Well earned. Thank you. All right. So let's get into it. Yeah. So Kevin told me a little bit. All right. And I'll let you introduce yourself as well. But 23 years in law enforcement. Man, you don't look at young. Would you start when you were 10? What happened? Is that 23 years? No kidding.
Thank you so much. I received that. It's just beard dye, but I received that.
Hey, don't give away the secrets, man. Come on now. You ain't the only one. All right. So good times, brother. So you've done a lot. You've been in the police force a lot, and as you wish, right? But this is very special to you and what's going on in York and all the good things that are coming from this. You have a personal connection to gun violence, which has went down significantly, and there's a reason for it, right? So introduce yourself if you don't mind. Tell the folks what you want them to know and what you do there at York. And then we'll get into, hey, how did you get wrapped up into Kevin stuff? Right.
Gotcha. Well, my name is Michael Muldrow. I am proudly the police commissioner here in New York City with the York City Police Department. My background, like you said, it's actually been 25 years now. That's hard to believe that I've been in law enforcement, and I have traveled an interesting road. I was originally with the York City Police Department, left, went federal. Decided that wasn't for me, as I have always enjoyed people, the connection with people and community. So when I returned back to York City, I ended up going into the school district where I built a school police department and really focused on school safety and leading a team of school resource officers. And I did that for about 13 years and thoroughly enjoyed that. I've always enjoyed working with families and working with the youth. and working with the community. And it was there I got to do a lot of initiatives, some things that people thought were interesting and helpful and assets for the community. And that's when I got the phone call from the mayor, who asked me to come back to the city police department and asked me to actually lead. I still remember the call like it was yesterday, although it was 5 years ago, when he asked me, was I ready to step up to the big leagues and take on a bigger challenge? And I said yes. And it was an interesting time to say yes, because we were smack dab in the middle of COVID. We were dealing with the post George Floyd era. The George Floyd incident had just occurred, and police community relations was at an all-time low. The morale of the department was in the toilet. There's no other way to say it. And our community, on top of everything else, was just feeling the effects of grouper gang violence and spikes in shootings, gun-related violence, and homicides. And I again, like, I remember everybody in my life, my wife, my mom, my kids, everybody asking me why. Like, why are you saying yes to this? And I just remember them without any hesitation responding to everybody and saying, I have to. My community needs me. I'm a York City guy. I'm a hometown product, proud. And I felt like all the challenges that I was seeing was really just opportunities. And I thought that I brought something different. I'm a person that believes anything is possible if you give me enough time and give me enough resources to get it done. And I just wanted to bring that certain level of infectious hope into it, undeniable optimism. And 5 years later, while nobody thought the kind of results that we were going to achieve was really possible, other than me, here we sit. It's interesting. I still believe in walking around in the community. I still believe in jumping in the cruisers with my police officers and talking to them. And it was funny because here I am 5 years later. I actually had one of my patrol guys ask me, hey, here we are now. Like, we've cut the homicides, by like 80%. Gun violence is down 75%. We have cities all over the nation that are coming to us all the time asking, how do we do it, and wanting to look at us as a model. And the officer literally asked me, he was like, did you ever actually think you were going to pull this off? And I remember I just looked at him, and it's what came out. It was like, absolutely. I believe in you guys. I believe in this community, and I believe anything is possible as long as God's supporting you and you're doing it for the right reason. So here we are. And I'm just thankful to have been along on the journey, on the ride. And I just continue to seize every opportunity I get, like when Kevin asked.
And Commissioner Muldrow, I know being a police officer is kind of in your family genes, right? Because your father was also York City Police Commissioner. Am I correct?
Yeah, I'm actually second. He was a commissioner. He was an officer, but I'm second generation. I got an opportunity to work with my dad for about 3 years. My first go around when I was here, that was kind of like playing high school football and having your parent in the stand. And I look back on it because I think it was that level of critique, that level of honesty and clarity that really kind of shaped who I am. He's the person that taught me to be that it was okay, although the police academy and some of the normal grooming of the career field will send you one direction and have you really focusing on being a letter of the law type of guy. He's him and the old timers, as they used to always call themselves. They were the ones that taught me that there's another way to do it, that this job is about people. This job is a platform. You can do whatever you want to do with it once you get in your car and you get out in the street, and that this job can be done in a heartfelt, heart-filled way where you lead with your heart, you lead with empathy and concern. And at the end of the day, it's just about getting the job done. Whether I clear a corner full of guys that were out selling drugs, or whether I stop something bad, just by being able to talk to people, or my presence, or the relationship we have, that mutual respect has them go inside or leave or not commit whatever they're going to commit. At the end of the day, it's as long as you're getting the job done and people are feeling safer about their neighborhoods and their community, it doesn't matter whether you got it done through arrest or whether you got it done through relationship.
Yeah.
And,
I can
Mike,
hear.
if I can just briefly interject, I mean, when I think of transformational leaders, and I think of what leading with kindness entails, I mean, Commissioner Muldrow is a case study. I mean, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, I think he alluded to it earlier, what 80% reduction in crime, and we recently celebrated 100 consecutive days or more without any gun violence in the city. And there were a lot of cynics and naysayers said it couldn't be done. But I am convinced, because I've experienced myself, with passion and purpose, anything is possible and no stars beyond reach. And the commissioner alluded to it. He believed when no one else did. And that is leadership and leading by example. And I know many people look to me as, you know, the kind of the face of this movement, if you will. And it's, it's not something I ask for or wish for. But this is the honest to God's truth, is I can point to one of dozens of individuals and say that if it were not for them, kindness worldwide would not exist and we wouldn't be having this conversation. And one of those individuals is Commissioner Muldrow, because of among all the activities that happened during Kindness Week that's celebrated in New York, we had kindness cards and we had schools engaged in blood drives. The most visible aspect of that was the issuance of kindness citations by the commissioner. And it wasn't just that, kindness citations, kind of that novel concept. It was the way he did it with such enthusiasm. I mean, there could not have been a greater champion of that effort. And you saw a brief video in that introduction of him issuing that first citation, but there were many, many more. I lost count of how many citations he issued that week. And he would post them on Facebook and celebrate these individuals with such enthusiasm and passion. And that becomes contagious. And so I can never say enough good things about this leader, this man, and because he's earned my respect. I mean, I knew this is a person that I was destined to meet. When everyone in York County said, you got to talk to Commissioner Muldrow, we'll be all over this. So thank you again, Commissioner.
Oh, wow. Look, yeah, go ahead and blush. You serve all day long, no complain, do extra stuff, work extra hours. Hey, well earned, because it's not flattery. Kevin don't flatter, trust me. He says what he means. But, hey, bravo. Everybody clap. You'll hear it real loud. Clap over here in Kentucky. Because I know what it's. I was a fireman for 8 years. So, you don't just do that. I mean, there's so many people that go to work and clock in, clock out, and go home. Not you. All right. And that has transformed many, many lives. We got videos. Don't leave, folks. We got short videos. It's proof's in the pudding. So let me go on, because, Kevin, that was great, man. I appreciate you honing in on that. Let's see. I was going to ask, hey, what made you receptive to implementing kindness? But that you are kindness, right? So that makes sense. That's why you got into policing. Is there anything you want to add to that, though? Anything? Is there a certain instance? Was it just Kevin? Was you like, oh, finally someone else wants to do this? Like, what was it that kind of got you going?
I mean, it's again, like I realized over the years that there's a lot of people that can do this job. That's not what I think is special about, at least not how I approach it. It's the willingness to look for opportunities to celebrate other people, the willingness to give myself and be transparent with folks and try to celebrate that even in the station, to let people know that it's okay to let the community get a little closer. It's okay to open up. It's okay to hug people. I mean, something as simple as a smile or a hug. You never know what somebody else is going through on the other side of an interaction. And this is a tough job that we deal with, very tough circumstances, from being a fireman. But something that small, something that little as being kind, as that hug. And my thought has always been, because I'm a hugger. I mean, I don't know, you could probably tell from my energy that I'm a hugger.
Makes two of us.
Like my thought has always just been, if I can touch a person, if I can touch you, then I can imprint on you. And if I can imprint on you, then you'll feel me. And if you feel me, you'll know that I care. And when people know that you care, you can move mountains with them because they're receptive to it. They feel better about you. They feel better about where they live. They feel a little bit better about life. And that's what I think that Kevin and this initiative tapped into. It was just recognizing the best in people and going that little extra mile to let them know that they matter and that they're worth it.
You love people. And maybe that's why, instead of just having to enforce things all the time, and maybe that's why, because you guys celebrated 100 days without gun violence recently. Is that right?
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's what's behind that. It's people see the reduction in the numbers, but the stuff that they don't see is the messages from the young guys, the messages from our individuals who in the past have been problematic, that are literally sending us messages, inbox messages, text messages, that are waving at me when they see me on the street corner, that will go sit down and have lunch with me as a police commissioner. I think what we've been able to do through relationship is to make even the problematic element of our community, we've made them consider us. And I'm proud of that. I actually think the young people who have been at risk in the past and who have been involved in negative activity, even they now know how much I care, how much we care, how much our officers and our staff and our outreach people like Tiff Lowe, how much they truly care about them. And once we got that through their heads and their minds and into their hearts, they consider us, and they are literally trying to be better today than they were yesterday.
And if I can jump in and reflect on, what Commissioner Muldrow is saying, as someone who has gotten to know him now in my position over the past 2 years, first off, going to lunch with him is fantastic, but also expect to be interrupted. We sat on the street, and we will never do that again, because probably about a dozen people interrupted us saying, "Oh, Commissioner," and he's, shaking hands. And so that, if that's not a
celebrity,
right? And it's not just the big names and big wigs either. It's like the mom with the stroller too that stops. There was a couple of months ago, I run an internship on public safety with high school kids, and I asked the commissioner if he would give us a personal tour of the city. And he said, yes, but it's got to be after 5 p.m. because I want the kids to see my city. I want the homeless people to be out. I want the moms on the stoops to be out. And it was fantastic because my high school kids got to see this police commissioner who's supposed to be tough, right? He has to have this persona, be vulnerable, talk about the challenges, talk about the successes, going into barbershops and shaking people's hands, telling stories as we walk around the street. We saw some rough parts of the city too. And so the commissioner, it was interesting because at first he kind of shepherded all of us into the van, and then he went over to address a situation that was happening. And he's like, "You guys okay? You guys need anything?" It wasn't just I'm wearing a badge, you better listen to me. It was, what can I do to help? You guys okay? You got each other? So it's been cool to see that he means it and he cares about people. And there are some things that have happened in New York City that I don't think we would have been able to weather if it wasn't for the relationships that he built.
Wow.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Jamie, because there's this perception that kindness is a weakness, and it is a strength. And when you lead with kindness, the results speak for themselves. And I'm not in law enforcement, but I have so much respect for those who serve our communities, and so much respect for Commissioner Muldrow. But in my capacity as Chief Kindness Chaser of Kindness Worldwide, I figure if anyone is entitled to give a kindness citation other than law enforcement, that would be me. And so I've only ever given two. One was to Brooke Dobbs, the Good Samaritan woman whose act of kindness was a ripple to kind of start this global wave. But the second was earlier this year, and it was such an honor to give Muldrow his own kindness citation. And I will tell you that it was very meaningful to me because he earned it. He deserved it. It was a year late, but patience is a characteristic of kindness, so I appreciate his patience. But when I was issuing him that citation, Commissioner Muldrow is the real deal. He's authentic. It's all heart. And I could tell it was emotional for him to be seen, right, and be appreciated in the same way that everyone he issued a citation to was seen and appreciated and recognized. And so, again, I've only ever given two. And I'd be happy to give out many, many more. But honestly, that was a moment that was very meaningful to both of us at the time.
And don't worry, that goes to the YMCA. It's nobody's actual home address. I know I'm going to get some. Hey, was that somebody's? No, that goes YMCA. But they're real. No. When I saw this, I was like, oh, I got to get in. How do I get into this? Because this is awesome. because I remember, I'm not going to, okay, in a place I once lived. So they have one nice guy cop, and he would get an award every year. Imagine, because he would stop and change tires, he would hang out, he would police, he would talk, and nobody gave the man anything. But other cops seem to have a lot of problems. Think about that. So, imagine the whole city getting on board. And this is servant leadership. This is everybody had to buy in. All right. And this is what makes it amazing to me. And we're going to get to Jamie, because Jamie sees that every good movie has a director, or we wouldn't have no movie. So somebody's got to be making sure all this is going on right. If you go to the orchestra with nobody with the stick, it's a bad orchestra. That's Jamie over there. That's how I view her. So let me ask you this. All right. And then we're going to go pick on Jamie. So tell us a little bit about the kind of citations. So what are some of the examples that, why, first of all, and then, how did that go over? Did people get nervous at first? We're like, oh my God, what did I do? Or what did you let them know? Like, give us a little peek behind the curtain, Michael, in your first kind of citation.
Oh, that was for me. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be for my friend Jamie, but no. Everybody from the first to the last, after doing a couple rounds of them now, a couple years of them now, everybody has received them with open arms. We were actually blown away by the reaction, whether it was a community person, whether it was a person in business, on their job, or even kids. We had a little girl that made her grandmother circle the block and give some money to some homeless guys who were on a street corner. And when I heard about it, that's what I love about this job. I get to hear about every so much. I won't say everything, but so much. And every time we hear one of those stories, it's an opportunity to celebrate people that don't otherwise get celebrated. And that's what's so beautiful about this concept. Not everybody's going to win the big award, but this gives you an opportunity to recognize the little guy for the seemingly small acts of kindness and love that they do. And it's extremely well received, so well received. And I'm sure Jamie can attest to this, that I started looking for opportunities, but then it just turned into constant inbox messages on social media with people saying, once they see you celebrate somebody and throw this parade-like moment, and that's the way we did it. We would have like an army of cops, like try to catch up to people and surprise them and shock them. And once people would see all the pageantry about it, to it, and they would have see those moments celebrated, they would start inboxing you suggestions like, oh, this just happened, and this coach did this, and this person picked up this bill or this tab for somebody else. And so you had the people that do the work every day that we were trying to celebrate, but then you had the little small moments that we were recognizing, and it just became a whole thing. I think people literally look forward to it now, and will continue to look forward to it each year whenever the week hits, so that we can spotlight more people for the great things that they do.
In year one, Mike, so we had York City, and Commissioner Muldrow was visible champion of this effort. I don't think he slept that week. I think he was issuing so many citations. And then we had York County Sheriff's also engaged. But then this past year, Jamie and her efforts really took it to a whole other level, because Jamie can comment on this, but York Safety Co-Lab basically interacts with 16 different police departments throughout the county, and I forget the number, but we had multiple more. And there's a Channel 8 video that'll show some of the departments, and Jamie's in it in terms of what happened this past year. And then I'll let Jamie comment, but I can't thank Jamie enough, because she embraced this initiative and really took it to a whole other level with many more departments just this past November. Absolutely.
Let's show the video, and then we're going to dive in and pick Jamie's brain, her perspective. And folks in the comments, thank you so much. It's truly amazing. Thank you for doing this. And hey, we're going to have action takeaways, things that you can do to spread this, big and, small and little, or wait a minute, small and big. I'll get the words out, Kevin. See, everybody porky pigs every now and then, dadgummit. All right. So let's do it.
From California to the New York Island. Every Thursday at First Church in Hanover, Grace Mullen organizes and runs a free senior program.
Good afternoon, Grace.
This Thursday,
Lieutenant Bunty, Hanover Borough Police Department.
Grace got a visit from police.
But the reason I'm here today on behalf of the Hanover Borough Police Department and the York County Safety Collab is to talk to you about Kindness Week.
Grace got cited for her kindness.
Here's your copy of the citation.
Police are catching people doing something good, and Hanover Borough stepped up and are giving a number of citations to people around the community who have just stepped up and are doing great things and serving others.
My job is to get different churches and community groups working together to serve others the way Jesus did when he was here.
Are you Beckett?
13-year-old Beckett Simpson got a citation too for helping the YMCA's Kids Come First program.
Your charges are assisting someone in need, an act of charity or service, and making the world a better place.
Beckett is guilty as charged. He's hoping this type of getting caught in the act catches on.
Because when people see what you do and they see the changes that it makes them also inspired to be able to create change.
Ann Shannon, WGAL News 8.
Now, Hanover Police also cited Emerson Rankin. His goal is to give out 12,000 coats with coats of friendship.
I love that.
Kind of.
One quick comment, Mike, and turn it over to Jamie. But the reporter who did that segment is Ann Shannon from WGAL Channel 8. And after this act of kindness occurred on Good Friday morning, 2023, I thought, again, I should go the extra mile, acknowledge this young woman. So I impulsively emailed all the local news. I thought if they would cover the story, it would inspire others. But most importantly, if anyone did, it would be a way of acknowledging this young woman in a more meaningful way. Only one reporter responded, and it was Ann Shannon, the same reporter who did that story. Within 7 minutes, she replied. There was something in my email that resonated with her. She did the segment, later went viral and made headlines, but learned after the fact that Ann was having a bad day, and the night before, she had just covered a murder-suicide. And so all the negativity of the news was weighing on her too. And something that email resonated. She needed to be uplifted. She did the story. And I can never thank her enough as well, because again, if there was no Ann Shannon and there was no original story, there would be no kindness worldwide, and everything could happen after. And so everything comes full circle. So I just thought I wanted to give a shout out to Ann and Channel 8 for their leadership.
Hey, thank you for saying that, folks listening. Whether I don't care what you're trying to do, build a business, I don't care. Look at what happened. Look how instrumental we could be. Just being at the right place at the right time, making an introduction, making a connection, thinking, all right, let me do it. It makes a difference. This cane could have fell apart at any point, and it didn't. And that's it. It's the who, right? Remember who? Redneck Al. There it is. So, guys, I love it. And I know the folks in the comments, they live this. This is why it's so much fun. And you can implement this stuff, guys. So now we're going to talk to Jamie, who can talk about this. Because this ain't just kumbaya and accidental. There's a lot of thought that goes into this, and people are really, making it happen. And you are one of those people. So, Jamie, so happy to have you here. All right. Director of York County Safety Collab, right? And you have a PhD in American Studies and a data-driven approach. So I'm not going to do us a favor. Introduce yourself and tell us your position and why. What do you want to share here? Because you've heard us talking. What's your perspective on all of this? How did you get involved, and how was, why did you do so much?
Yeah, so I direct a nonprofit that supports law enforcement. It's a coalition of all the police departments in York County. There are 17. And so what I try to do is get us to all row in the same direction. What that can look like is going after joint funding for training. For example, we have a de-escalation training, and we were able to get more money than our state police because when we applied for this federal funding, we were able to show this is going to cover all of York County. So we got $250,000, and now our police are trained in de-escalation. We have 52% of the entire county, which is phenomenal. Over 260 police officers have gone through this training. And it's just how to talk to people. So we do training, we go after funding for equipment. It's very community focused though. So equipment that we want to fund is body worn cameras, for example, because it documents the truth, right? It protects both the officer and the civilian. But then we also do a lot of community engagement, because we know if we can build goodwill between people and police, we're trying to counter that social media narrative. There's so many people right now that take out of context snippets and make it look bad. And there's not a lot of people going into policing either. So we're trying to figure out how we can flip that recruitment on its head, get people to look at policing as a viable career, like they want to do it. And so the kindness week, it was a perfect example. It was the kindness citations. So last year, York City and the sheriff's office did it. And so I went to my coalition of my 17 police departments, and we got the citations printed. I went to York City and said, hey, can I get your guys' format that you use? They gave me the file. I got about 200 printed. And then we had eight different police departments participate this year. I even made a social media toolkit. So it's very easy. It was like plug and play. Here's how you can get referrals or recommendations. But a lot of the police, once we exposed an initiative to them, they already knew in their head, so here's someone I need to recognize. And the people appreciate it too. Like Commissioner Muldrow gave a woman in York City, Darlene Leonard, a citation. And when I went and visited her, she runs a neighborhood association, and she's boots on the ground. I mean, she got like a food pantry. They run a daycare for, at-risk kids, and she's got it framed. She's got it framed when you walk into her food pantry. I mean, if that doesn't show that people care and they're proud of it. I know, isn't that just amazing? So this kindness citation, it was funny because that video you showed of the YMCA, Commissioner Muldrow, you probably get this all the time, but this guy standing in uniform and everyone's like, what's going down? What's going down?
Yeah. Overdue library books. Oh my God. I forgot to take the book.
Yeah. They're like, uh-oh. So it was so amazing to see officers celebrating and recognizing. And I also, that happens a lot more than what people realize. There are so many things that police do that go and help people and go the extra mile. And of course, there are bad police officers. There's some everywhere. But not
in York. They ain't gonna last long in York. Dang. I can't stay in York. I don't.
The majority of York County, and that's thanks to the chiefs who are participating. I think that there is this kind of shift away towards, because here in Pennsylvania we're Commonwealth, and so we have fiefdoms. Each one, we have their own municipality. We have some police departments that have 1 square mile, and they're one police department. And not all of them are accredited either, which means that they don't have the same uniform policy. Like I said, if you're in York County and you're driving from one Walmart to the other Walmart across the city, you can go through 4 different police departments and be policed 4 different ways. So what we try to do is try to figure out ways that they can be more consistent, more uniform, so our civilians, our residents get the same experience. So I'm not from law enforcement. I was a high school history teacher before this. So it has been learning very fast about their attitudes and how to get them to work together. But generally, it's been a blast.
Wow. Okay. So transformational. That's the whole thing. Transactional and things. Yes, you have to enforce laws and you got to do your job. But you're doing so much more, which makes your job easier, right? Like you don't have to go. Oh man, I can't even get the words out. Look, Kevin's like, I'll help you in a minute. All right. So Jamie, so let me ask you this, kind of a peek behind the curtain, right? So with your academic studies, like what was it that shaped your approach to the York County Safety Collab? Because it's not something that I've seen before, and I was behind the city. I've done a lot of things with cities. And so what was it that really shaped this idea and implementation of yours? Was there certain, just who you are? Was there certain, thing that popped up? Like what was it?
Yeah, so I can't take ownership of the idea. I was my amazing team, Aaron Anderson and Otto Monroy. They came up with the idea, and they said, "Why don't we? What can we do to help police work together?" Because let's be honest, like some chiefs, they compete over territory, they compete over things, and unfortunately, York isn't immune to that. So Aaron and Otto had this idea of, what if we can build a cohort where there's this resource sharing to avoid duplication and more uniform training, like I was talking about. And so then they hired me. My husband thought I was crazy leaving a job where I got summers off and I was backed by a union to now be grant funded. Right. But honestly, I was excited for the challenge. So my doctorate's in American Studies, which is, just kind of like history. And it's funny because my dissertation was on chickens. I was interested in food waste, and
I want to see that one.
I was interested in why wealthy people raise chickens. It's this like fad, Washington, D.C., like or Silicon Valley, people had chickens. But getting your doctorate teaches you how to listen, how to research, how to interview people. My work was qualitative, not quantitative. So it was a lot of like an ethnographic approach. And so that ability to write and synthesize really helped me with my job because I was able to go and meet each chief, hear about each department, figure out ways that, like I said, we can work together. So yeah, I think it also helps. The people on this podcast right now are very transparent, and that is refreshing. And I think coming from a teaching background, I taught at a school where all the kids are lower income. They could read right through you. If you weren't authentic, if you weren't yourself, if you were acting, oh, they could eat you up. They could smell a fake. And so I learned pretty quickly, like peel off that protective layer of being a professional and being who I think they could be, who I should be. And I think that kind of helped with police because I just went in and said, here, I'm Jamie. Here's what I know. Here's what I don't know. I'm not from law enforcement. I need your help. Help me understand things. So for the past year and a half, it's been asking questions and understanding. And now just in the past few months, it's now been more action oriented where I felt comfortable saying, all right, here's how I want to steer the ship.
All of that. Real quick. Hey, real quick, because I think she has to go. She's back. Can I pull you up, Dr. CJ, real quick? Because you had a great question. Can I do that before you got to go teach the world? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I knew she'd say yes. There she is.
One thing, Mike, while we're waiting for CJ, Jamie alluded to this. As you may know, Kindness Worldwide is an ecosystem model. And, we always use a term that we complete, we don't compete. And it's all about collaboration. And in fact, at the bottom of the foundation of the Kindness Week logo, it says a community collaboration. And it starts with obviously good leadership. And Jamie's done that, taking 17 different police departments with their own different philosophies and really with good leadership, collaborating and making the collective the sum of its parts. And so it's just been phenomenal. What can happen with collaboration, a shared spirit for the greater good. It's amazing what can be achieved.
Hey, real quick. If that wasn't the case, might not be here. So people like kindness. I mean, CJ showed me a lot of it, and here we are, and all celebrating this and getting this out. So, thank you so much, CJ. You want to read it? Because I thought it was for the audience.
Know. Like, this is really great and amazing conversation, right? Because that's what my mission is, to level up the world through education, and kindness is one of those things that people do need to get educated in. You don't need a degree to be kind. Okay, like seriously, I got multiples, you got multiples, I'm sure Jamie has multiples. You don't need that. You need compassion and understanding. And I like what Jamie said about like listening first before you take actions, right? Because sometimes what you think is correct is not really correct if you don't know what the problem is, right? You just jump right into this, oh, this is the problem. You didn't even know, you didn't ask. So I like that. But I want to replicate it, and I want to like talk about it on my platform. We have about 500,000 listeners on my platform every month, and about 200,000 on here, right? So I want to know more of how do we replicate it on other cities or even countries. One of the person, I don't know if it was Randall, Otto, he's like, hey, I want to make sure that this could be replicated in the UK. Like, how do we replicate these? Is there a framework that we can use so we can have more kindness in the world?
Who wants to take that first?
I'll take a swing initially, because I had seen the question come up from Dr. Leland with, let me look at the Level Up Academy. I think that the biggest thing with the Kindness Citation Initiative and so many of the other programs that lead with empathy, that surround an element of kindness and compassion and being able to do things through mutual respect. You have to at least, coming from perspective as a police chief or a police commissioner, speaking for the institutions, you have to have the buy-in from whether it's a school, whether it's a police department, correctional facility, youth home, whatever it would be. You have to solicit buy-in from your people. So how do you get over the hurdle of buy-in when there's such their career paths that will, for many reasons, tend to promote being standoffish, whether it's for fear of compassion fatigue, whether it's safety. People always put things under the guise of safety concerns. How do you get over that hump of wanting to be standoffish and creating that buy-in for your people? And the thing that I found, even with my most hardened officers, even in an urban environment, like it's an urban city environment that can be tough at times. How do you, and some of them are older than me and everything else, how do you create that buy-in? And the one common thing that I found has always been able to get over a hurdle, or at least get guys to listen to me, is an understanding that you can look at them in the face and say, look, at the end of the day, this is a tough job. These are tough jobs, but it's harder to do the job when people hate you. Point blank, period. The better relationship you can create, the safer your job is, you will increase the probability that you will go home with the same number of holes that you came to work with. If you can do it through relationship, and talk your way through it and do it with a little bit of respect, people will be less likely to spit on the ground at you, less likely to punch you in the face, less likely to take action against you and shoot you or anything like that. The job is so much easier when people don't hate you. And how you tear those walls down is through small acts of kindness, through a willingness to be on the same level, through sharing, through a little bit of openness. Yeah.
Could I jump in?
CJ, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jamie.
Well, just to bounce off what Commissioner is saying about relationships. So the reason why the Safety Club got started, and this is what other communities can replicate, it was right after the Freddie Gray murder down in Baltimore. And there was some concern that there were going to be rioting up in New York County because we have a race relation issue historically. We haven't had the best relationships. We're still working on that. And so the Black Ministers Association called up the police chiefs and called for a meeting. And at first the chiefs were like, what is this, an ambush? I'm not going to this. But they ended up having about 50 chiefs and then another 50 clergy that went into a local high school. And it was like an invisible veil was between them. Chiefs were on one side, clergy was on the other side. A pastor got up and she was concerned about her Black son driving through the country, right? And it wasn't because of the cows. It was because we have some Confederate flags here in York County. And so they're concerned about that, and so the police chief could have went into an explanation of here's an excuse, or here's why we're doing the things that we're doing. And instead he didn't. He just apologized. And he just listened and he apologized. And he said, I'm sorry that you're experiencing that. What can we do? And so they decided to meet every month. And so it's called the Chiefs and Clergy Partnership. And that's what gave birth to the Safety Collab, because they said we can accomplish so much more. And just, a couple of weeks ago, we had a shooting here in one of our hospitals. We had an officer that was killed here in York County at the UPMC shooting. And because of that relationships that were already formed at the Chiefs and Clergy, that was a packed house, wasn't it, Commissioner? We had like 5 police chiefs and probably another like 25 clergy. But it gives me chills just thinking about it. The chiefs, you talk about vulnerability. I mean, we're openly talking about what it was like to lose somebody, to have their guys who are traumatized, and they signed up for policing, but they didn't sign up for all that, it's a challenge. And so to have the clergy at one point, we all put hands on the police and we all prayed together. That's when I first learned that clergy liked to talk a lot. It was like 10 minutes and I'm holding on to this chief's arm. And I was like, okay, like 10 minutes. But it was a pretty powerful moment. But it made the police feel like they were supported. And I think that could be replicated. I think if there are clergy or other just members of society that can reach out to the police and say, can we meet? What can we do to help? And then also, if I can give Commissioner Muldrow a shout out too, he said at the police and clergy meeting that he appreciates the prayers, but also like show up. Clergy, show up to my department, pray with my guys, show them that you're there. And they did. And they did show up the next day. So I think it's also up to the police chiefs to tell the community, here's what I need from you, because they don't know what to do.
Mike, Jamie alluded to it, is after the Freddie Gray incident, there were riots in practically every major city across the country.
Yeah.
Did not happen in York. And to me, that was the real story. Why didn't it happen here? It happened for all the reasons Jamie just described, people getting together, right? And not in our community, right? Let's talk through it. And it didn't happen. That was the real story. And And, CJ asked, about bringing this to other communities. Well, I look at York County as a microcosm country and global citizens at large. And if something so magical can happen here, it can happen anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah, going
and
straight.
So what we're looking to do, Kindness Week Worldwide, it's just one of many initiatives, but it's our signature initiative. We want to celebrate that in communities anywhere and everywhere. My call to action in Palermo, Italy, that began this broadcast, I called on leaders at all levels, every community, every state, every country. And I also called on every member nation of the United Nations. Now, I'm a go big or go home kind of guy. Doesn't get any bigger than that, right? And as I said then, there's no reason not to, every reason we must. And we can coalesce energy together on what unites us all, and that's kindness. We all can agree on that. There's too much focus on what divides. We need to focus on what unites. Kindness is one thing universally agreed we need more of. Well, how do we get more of it? We recognize it, we reward it, and we celebrate it. And so there's no reason we can't get all 50 governors. We have one right now, Governor Shapiro. There's outreach to others. Let's get them all. Let's get all 50. Why not? Let's bring it to every community, and let's bring kindness citations to every community. And let's talk about kindness. What to be mindful about kindness. And I think positive energy will get more of it. So we've got to reverse this cycle of what I refer to as empathy erosion in recent years. It's happening. We're losing connection, and we got to reverse that. And how we reverse that is we turn the tide. Small acts of kindness lead to bigger acts. A small ripple, one act of kindness, as you've seen from my own experience, can create a ripple and beget more of it. And so we just got to be mindful of that. But yes, we can replicate it to other communities because it's happening here. It's happening in York. York is a model for others to emulate. Just look what's happening in York County, PA, in so many ways, and we can bring that to your community too.
Dang, straight. Listen, here's what it is. It ain't perfect, but it's getting closer, and they want to get closer to better, and they want things to happen. You could do lip service. You could put in programs all you want to. Here's the common denominator. All these people truly care. They really want to see this happen. It's way beyond paychecks. It's way beyond, expectations. They really get it. And that's what it takes. And I'm glad. I like it when Commissioner Muldrow said, well, I don't know, is it me? Yeah, because we need humble servants. If you're not, let me think about it. Yes, you should probably do it. That's I always joked about it. I always like, who I want to hear from? I want to hear from the lunch lady. I want to hear from real people that I don't want to hear from nonsense. And this is what we've got. This is real people doing stuff. So, and I love what Lonica said. Finally, something went viral that's positive. That comes straight. And that's why we're doing this, folks. We're not doing it for us. We're doing it because that's how we're going to impact lives. The things out there that hurt us and hurt others, we're doing something about it. So thank you. And thank you, CJ. I know she had to go teach. When she came and boy, she timed that one well. That was, she's like, she's amazing. So, there's so much I want to cover. Jamie, I tell you what, real quick, because we're going to go 5 minutes if y'all are good, a little bit over. But is there anything special that you wanted to address on this, right? So you all explain what this is and then highlight some of the metrics, because I want other cities, well, that sounds good, but what's the numbers and what's the thing? Well, here it is. You got this whole 8,000-page document. We won't show it all, but it's well thought out. And so what would you like to point out? Like what things went down, what things went up? And
yeah, why don't we talk here about this cost of crime and why it behooves everyone to support law enforcement and prevention activities to stop kids from going to this pipeline to prison. So there was this RAND study where they looked at the tangible and intangible costs of crime. You can see the list there: loss of life, everything down to property losses. But if you could click the next one, it also impacts our officer wellness. So our officers are going to be overworked, they're understaffed, they're forced overtime, which officers already in York County work 12-hour shifts. That's a long day, 8 to 8 or 7 to 7 is a long time. So in addition to these intangible costs, if you could go to the next one, it also costs financially. So every time there's a serious assault, 13,000, rape is about 217,000, and then homicide is over 13 million. 13 million. And this is adjusted for inflation. And this is an average across the entire country. So people who are listening, no matter where you are, this is the average cost So my business-minded folks out there, this is why our police need support, and funding needs to go to them, and more than just the city and county funding. I mean, you can ask Commissioner Muldrow, like officer wellness, it's becoming more important, but they rely on local foundations and local grants to support them. So if you go to the next one, here in York, we've had such a reduction in homicide. And we can credit that to York City's efforts, the rest of the county's efforts, their GBI program, which hopefully, Commissioner, you can have a chance to talk about that. And then also our prevention. There's so many good people doing things after school, over the summer, coaching parents. But you can see a couple of years ago, we had 30 homicides in the entire county. Then it went down to 19. And last year we had just 12.
That's remarkable. Hey, like I said, I did a lot of stuff behind the scenes of a major city. That is remarkable, right? Even per capita. You're like, well, it's not. No, if you take the ratio and apply that, man, woo, we can make a serious impact in this country like this. And you guys are doing it. Oh my gosh. And this is staggering. Anybody else, if you want to chime in on the comments, 13 million in homicides, that is mind blowing. That's a lot of money. I mean, yeah, of course, the pain and all, but then you throw that on top of it. It's like, wow, there's every reason to do something about it. And you guys are doing it. Holy cow. Is there any other slides in here because I want to make sure people get this. We'll repost this.
I think the only thing too would be, we did a study where we asked kids in York County how they feel about police. Do you feel safe? And do you trust police? And because we wanted to see, what they thought. And so it's the bubble graph. And what we found is that the majority of kids in York County do feel like they can trust police, but there's a lot that feel like they don't. And it's actually a lot of girls. A lot of girls feel like they can't trust police, and girls of color. So we're trying to figure out like what is that? And I think small things like the Kindness citation helps. I think a part of it is if you're raised in a house with exposure to violence and trauma, and your only interaction with police is that's the reason why my mom's in jail and not with me. I think there's this negative association. I mean, law enforcement is the only career where if you're mistreated in your way, have a perceived grievance against one thing, all of a sudden every cop's bad, right? You have this stereotype that every cop's bad. But I'm sure even though you had a bad teacher at one point because you didn't meet me and say, oh, Jamie used to be a teacher, I don't like you. Cops, that happens to cops. They just, they're grouped. And so what Commissioner Muldrow is doing and what other chiefs around the county are doing is every small positive interaction goes such a long way. Like we're doing a sports league between cops and kids. We just got done with our volleyball league, and we had, Commissioner, I don't know if you know this, you had eight officers sign up every Wednesday to give their time. We did have some other from the county, but it was mostly, I know your guys showed up. And so they were just in t-shirts and shorts hanging out with kids. And so it was no longer, officer abate. It was just, for first name basis. Or the warden from the prison came out, Warden Adam Ogle, and did our volleyball league last year. And now he's doing a pickleball league. So those small, tiny interactions, they go such a long way.
That's it.
Man, baby steps add up to giant steps. So don't feel like you just have to do all this at once, folks. Any city leaders, any leaders in general. Just take a little baby step. And you all were asking. That's what I love about it. We had, Martinez on with SPCA, right? Like asking the question, why is this happening? And then try to see if we can solve it, right? Well, people aren't getting rid of their pets just because they don't like them and stuff. There's reasons. Let's address the reason. And now things are better. Unbelievable. So, wow. Okay. So I can go on and on and on, but nobody's got time for me to. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. Be a good host. Woo, we got so much. We could have a round two. I can get you all on segments because this is something that we're not going to slow down on. All right. And Kevin, I know you're not even thinking about slowing down on it. All right. So let me pull the Kindness website because I want people to take action steps. And then I'm going to ask, and we're going to close with Commissioner Muldrow and Jamie about their take on this. Okay. What can people do? The action steps, the message, what's the vision, right? So, all right, Kevin, hey, what are 3 ways, man? Right. What are some of the ways that folks can get involved and spread kindness? Because you're the spider in the hub, and you're helping put all these things together. And what do you say?
First and foremost, just share the story. Orly Wabu was a friend of mine in his journey, a key player in the World Kindness Movement. She said, it's one thing to inspire. Inspiration is temporary. It's like a sugar high. The key is we got to translate inspiration into empowerment, right? So hopefully everyone's inspired by what you've heard tonight, but we got to take it the next step and translate that into action. So we want to bring the magic of Kindness Week worldwide to every community. Well, it's so easy. The beauty is in the simplicity. There's toolkits and resources on our website. Proclamations already written. Any mayor can sign it with a stroke of a pen, or governor. So reach out to your community leaders and let's talk about bringing the magic that we've seen in York, PA to your own community. That's number one. Number two is, look, we're looking for people to champion this effort, champion this vision. The vision is to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. There's many initiatives towards that vision, of which Kindness Week Worldwide is one of them. So we ultimately want to get ambassadors, every community, every state, every country in the world. And I've got probably 20, 25 now from all over the world. So if you're interested in being an ambassador and what that entails, reach out. We'll add you to our email list to keep you on our communication stream. Volunteer. We're looking for those efforts. But also, look, this has been all heart, no ego, no overhead, limited resources. We see what's happened when you have a handful of people who believe in something bigger than themselves, who just with nothing but passion and purpose and a lot of heart have made what you see happen already, this movement, possible with basically no resources. The beauty is the impact of the movement doesn't take resources, right? It's free. Kindness is free. We want to keep it that way, but there are things and initiatives that are going to take resources. We want to turn anti-bullying into pro-kindness. We have a Cool to Be Kind campaign. We have public service announcements. We want to get on networks all throughout the country. That's going to cost resources. We want to bring curriculums that you can teach in schools and programs and workplaces. That's going to take resources. So at some point, look, if this has all happened with limited resources, imagine what we could do with some tailwinds. So we're looking for people to support our efforts, donors. We're looking for brand sponsors locally, nationally, globally to back what we're trying to do, because none of us can do it alone, but we can do it together. So, just reach out on our website, kindnessworldwide.org. And again, this has just been a real journey. It's been an adventure of a lifetime. It's not my story, it's our story. And we all can do this together. And the pen is now ours to write the future chapters of this story. And I know they're going to be the most beautiful yet.
Daggum straight. And correct me if I'm wrong. Folks can donate individually and sponsors. Like, what kind of sponsors? It's companies, people that want to get behind this, fund these efforts to spread this, hey, anybody and everybody. If you're interested, go have a chat with Kevin. And is this the place to go on the website?
Yeah, absolutely. There's donate now buttons. There's sponsor information, and also just reach out to me separately. Just email me. My contact information is there. ksmith@kindnessworldwide.org or info@kindnessworldwide.org. And we're all in this together. It's a collaboration. It's a global community collaboration. We're all part of this local community, this global community, and it's up to each of us to make our world a better place. And we can do that together. None of us can do it alone. And there's ways of doing that. This vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world is not a pipe dream. There's a path. And look, the cost of crime, you see that. And how it's gone down in York County. That's not a coincidence. It can happen. And by definition, if we have a true culture of kindness, we cannot have crime, right? And so there is a definite, tangible benefit of creating that culture of kindness in our communities, with many implications, health-wise, safety-wise, and otherwise. And again, with heart, passion, and purpose, there's no star that's beyond reach, and no dream too big.
Wow, well said. And by the way, that ambassador list, has that exploded, my friend. Look, so Dr. knew that she was our kindness queen. Now she's worldwide kindness queen. So ambassador, and then I saw Tracy Ann Palmer. Holy moly! Don't get too close to this guy. You're gonna catch on fire.
Well, we've got quite a few more in the queue, and so we've got a ways to go to get one in every state and every country. But look, it starts with vision, right? And then you make it happen. You manifest it.
These are amazing. These are amazing people. It cut out a little bit. Sorry, I mean to cut you off. These are amazing people. I saw Johnny on there. This is a snowball. This is one I'm more than proud of. Happy the Hounds is honored, Kevin. Seriously, we are all honored to be a big, a special part of this, small part of this huge movement, man. Can you hear me?
One thing too, I just want to kick it off to Commissioner Muldrow. Close it, later with the video, a thank you York video, and there's a story behind that video that I know the commissioner can speak to. and how he rallied the community together on short notice to celebrate over 100 days consecutively without gun violence. And he wanted the community to be a part of it because he knew it took all of us and it took a collaboration. So I know you want to get comments from Jamie and the commissioner before we close with that video, but I think it would be helpful to kind of hear a little bit of the story behind that story because it's really a fascinating one.
Yes, sir. Let's see if I get the buttons right. All right, the first 2 minutes or minute, right? Let's do it.
Yeah, I just that. Oh, there we go.
All right, Kevin, can I stop it? And then I promise we'll show it right after.
Yeah, no, I just I know the commissioner really did a wonderful job, and it was a magical morning when that video was recorded. And I thought, just briefly speaking from the heart in terms of what inspired that, certainly might inspire your audience as well.
We'll show it at the end. We won't show my silliness. We'll show that. Yeah, but wow, there's so much here, folks. I thank you so much. So let me close off with the question. All right, if you don't mind. Let's see. Hold on. So my smart one left. I have to push buttons. And now Captain Kirk's by himself. All right, I got it. Let's see. Gummit. All right, Commissioner Muldrow. What message would you like to leave? About the power of kindness and creating safer communities. What's the takeaway?
The takeaway for me is it ends up being for the business people in the back of the room, for the leaders, for the agencies, it ends up being in everybody's best interest. And you're only going to get there by getting everybody involved and by connecting with people where they're at. You have to get the buy-in from the people that are delivering the services and the people that are receiving the services, because it's in everybody's best interest to lead with kindness, to move with empathy, and to make your community stronger by not doing things to them, but doing things with them. And then when you do achieve it and get it right, your small wins, and that's what the kindness citations celebrate. They celebrate your small wins, and then your big wins, whatever they look like, whether it's 104 days in an urban community without gun violence, whether it's being able to say you have reduced number of homicides or no homicides, or whether it's a community that comes together because a cheerleading program wins a national competition and everybody's showing up to celebrate them. At the end of the day, you have to take the time to celebrate your victories, your small and your big, because that's how you make memories. And memories is what brings a community together and makes people want to live there. And the happier they are, the more they appreciate where they live, the better they treat it. Broken windows theory.
Hey, listen to this. You got practitioner and academia. All right, this is not a theory. All right, y'all know it works. All right, you see it work, and she got the stats. She's got 8,000 pages of stats. Anybody want to see it? All right, contact Jamie. All right, she knows her stuff. But you're all heart, Michael. Seriously, appreciate you a million. Yeah, you do this from the heart, and that's it. I can't say nothing else. Why would I? All right. So thank you, my friend. Appreciate it. And thank you. I know lots of people, and I got a text message. Thank you for your service and sacrifice. Because it is a sacrifice. And, a lot of time away from home and a lot of things, you're in danger, and man, thank you. You could do a million things and you choose this and then you go above and beyond. So, that's why Kevin, all right, Kevin couldn't wait to do this. That's what Kevin does. That's what kindness does, y'all. It shines spotlights. So all the shares, all the donations, all the help, all the sponsorship just makes a bigger spotlight. That's all he's going to do with it, buy a bigger one, right? Get more people involved. That's why I love it. So this is PB&J, Michael. Remember when they put PB&J in the same jar 20 years ago? That's how I feel about it. I'm still talking about it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. See, y'all, now the me's coming out. Kevin's like, oh, he's starting to unravel. We better wrap it up. This is a great time. All right. So, Jamie, let's wrap it up with you, my friend. What's the most important thing, in your opinion, communities should focus on when implementing kindness initiatives?
When Commissioner Muldrow and I had lunch a few months ago, we sat and talked for about 3.5 hours, and he never once checked his phone. He never once made me feel like I was rushed, like I was not important. And that you talk about, people don't remember, what you did. They remember how you made them feeling important in that moment and listened to and heard. I think one of the most important things we can do is listen to each other, validate, hear them. Because in that space, we have police and community, and it takes both working jointly for us to have safe communities.
Wow. Well, Kevin, I can't even talk. And when does that happen? So, dadgum. Anything you want to add? Close off? Because, I think we said it all. I mean, I'll be honest. Wow.
Well, when there are no words, we show our love, right? And but no, honestly, I cannot never say enough about the people in this room. Jamie and Commissioner Muldrow and yourself, Mike, and your community, and I just have been very blessed throughout this journey. And were it not for this one act of kindness, I likely never would have met you all, and or at least not to know you the way I have, today. And that's been one of many, many blessings, of all triggered by one act of kindness. And we all have that power within us. Kindness is a choice. It's a strength. It's not a weakness. And we've seen the power of kindness. We've seen what it's done for my home community of York that I love so much, as we all do that are in here this evening. But if we just choose to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people each and every day and every interaction, our world will instantly change. And that's what we're hoping to inspire others, and just to be that reason. And so again, thank you all. What a blessing this journey's been. What a blessing tonight's been. And so thank you all so much.
It has been for me, for sure. And all the folks, thank you, Hounds, friends of the Hounds, newbies in here. Wow. Hey, don't do this alone. Shameless plug, all right? If you're trying to build a business and do something special, that's why we exist. Don't do it alone. All right. You should and you can. Look who you're talking to. But most people won't. They don't have the resources, people, and support to get it done. That's where we step in. All right. We'll find a way. Be yourself, be your best self. We're getting it done on a large level. And it's an honor to be able to bring folks like you up here and spotlight. And we're going to do it again, dadgummit. I don't know. Y'all are courageous. If you're crazy enough to come back, I am more than welcome to have you back. But I do want to say, hey, thank you for both of y'all for your service and sacrifice. You go above and beyond, Dr. Jamie. We see that. Thank you so much. And Commissioner, hey, gold star, my friend. I don't know what else to say, dadgummit. Man, keep it going. And I know you kind of hold it back a little bit, right? I get it. Good, because let people do it. It's all real. It's all 1,000% heartfelt, man. And so, you can't buy that at the corner store. You can't manufacture that, dadgummit. This is real. So I love real people, and just want to thank you all. Thank the city, County York. Wow, man. Pets, people, they take care of everything over there, and they're just getting better. And look, my car used to turn itself around the Ohio border. I'm a Southern man. I can't wait to go. I'm serious. I'm like, wow, Mayberry ain't got nothing on this. I'm wanting to go. I want to help. So you got to hold me to it, Kevin. I got to stay at your house, though. I don't know if he's up for that.
You're always welcome. Plenty of room.
I'll sleep on the porch. I'm comfortable there. All right. So y'all, I appreciate y'all a million. We'll come back, and don't leave. Check out this video. It is absolutely amazing. And thank you all so much, guys. You are amazing. We'll talk soon. Let's get everybody. There it is.
We've gathered here today, each and every one of us,
regardless of title, regardless of background, regardless of position or affiliation.
Because we simply want to say, thank you, York. Thank you for doing what they said we couldn't do.
Thank you for changing what many thought we would never change.
Thank you for deciding that you no longer wanted to have gun violence in our streets.
Porque nos hemos decidido a tal alto de la violencia. Gracias, Joel.
For choosing a different way, a new narrative.
Because of that, let me hear you now. Come on, let me hear you.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.